Ahmann, President of the Westside. Welcome. Yes, my voice is, I can feel it coming online. There it is. All right. Can everyone hear me? We are now officially starting our Transform Westside Summit. So I want to welcome you. Thank you for being here. And I'm welcome back my co-host John Ingram.
Good morning. Good morning. Back from paternity. I've been out helping take care of my beautiful young daughter, Chloe. So while I'm happy to see you guys, I miss her every day I have to drive into work. But it is really exciting to be here at these mornings. I definitely miss this experience of just connecting with residents and partners and community leaders. So it really is exciting to be with you guys back here this morning.
Yeah, well, great to see John again. Thank you. And I always like to start our Transform Westside Summits by first acknowledging folks that are here for the very first time. I'm excited to see so many people that have been coming to these summits. So thank you for being here. But for folks that are here for the first time, please raise your hand. All right. So let's just, for those that welcome our newcomers to our summit, thanks for being here. And I want to, so for our Transform Westside Summit this morning, I want to say, we're broadcasting live. So we're up on live. Sorry, I got all thrown off with the. All right, is that better?
Yeah.
All right, great. And so we're gonna do a little bit of an overview. We're gonna go into a devotion. We're gonna take a few minutes for fellowship and get to know one another. And then we're very excited to have the leadership of the Booker T. Washington Cluster Principals here this morning. We're gonna be hearing from them this morning and really want to appreciate them stepping out to give us an update on this historic cluster and their incredible work on behalf of the children in the Booker T. Washington Cluster. So they're our featured panel this morning. We'll have a discussion and some time for question and answer. And we'll be wrapping up, as we always do, right at 9 o'clock this morning. So thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. And as the grandson and nephew of a number of Booker T. Washington graduates and educators, I'm just really excited to hear your updates and just be passionate about how we can work alongside you to support the children in our communities. So we got a full morning ahead of us, and I'm really looking forward to this conversation. Thanks to the great work of our WFF team and our strategic partners, we have many stories to tell, so we always advocate for everyone to subscribe now to stay informed using this QR code up on the screen. Stay informed through our newsletter for our collective process or progress that we're making throughout the community on all of our pillars. So make sure that you subscribe to the newsletter that you see on the screen. And then also remember to be engaged in our social channels. Those of you that are watching online on YouTube right now, hit the subscribe button. If you aren't subscribed to our LinkedIn, our Facebook, our YouTube, all of those things, please, because the more that we can share these stories with our network, the more obviously impact that we can have for the West Side. And lastly, as John said, don't forget, we're giving away 2 raffles, our Goodwill of North Georgia gift card and our Home Depot gift card, which is now $50, unless that has gone up since the last time I was here. But yes, please make sure to stay for the raffle.
All right, great. Thank you, John. And I'm going to shift, and I'm going to read the statement in just a moment behind me. But for those that are here for the first time, this is a really important part of our summit, our devotion, and we're always delighted to have a member of our community, who I'll introduce in just a moment, to lead it. But we draw inspiration from the lessons of Nehemiah in the Old Testament. And if you're not familiar, that's the story when Nehemiah, as the ring bearer, the king feels called back to his city, Jerusalem, to rebuild it. So it's not just about a physical rebuild, but at least for me, a value rebuild, and how you come together to rebuild a city on behalf of those who live in it. And one of the things I've actually, after 10 years and thinking about our devotion speaker this morning, it's about perseverance in the state when it's easy to give up. And so I think a lot of our work on the historic West Side has meant just that. So having this as our inspirational statement, we always appreciate our devotion speakers, drawing inspiration from it. So I'm first going to read it, then I'll introduce our speaker. It's become our tradition to begin our meetings with a positive, inspirational message from a member of our community. Recognizing that many in our community are driven by their spiritual faith to participate in the Westside revitalization effort, the time at the beginning of our meetings is an opportunity to share various inspirational reflections. While the speakers may articulate their personal faith, it is meant to be inclusive, inspiring, and meaningful with the story of Nehemiah as our guide. So I'm excited this morning to introduce Broderick Thompson-Smith. Broderick is the founder of a really amazing program that's actually at the Promise Center in English Avenue. He's the executive director of Music Without Limits. He's also a homeowner through our program, Home on the West Side, living in English Avenue, and he dedicates his life to youth. And one thing, I live in Vine City, and I know and I appreciate one of the things how much Broderick cares for the community. He gets up very early every morning and walks the neighborhoods. So one of the things he's doing is advocating for things that shouldn't be the way he might see them when he works at the neighborhood. And also know when he moved into Home on the West Side, he was next to a home that most of us would never want to live next to, in terms of squatters and other very unfortunate activity. But he persevered, and he's persevered on behalf of this community, on behalf of the youth that he serves. And so really, I think when you think about those lessons of Nehemiah, he's a real example of it. So please welcome up Broderick to lead us in our devotion this morning. I give him a big round of applause to come on up to lead this morning.
Good morning. As a music producer and teacher, I have learned every song begins before we ever hear it. It may begin with a choir melody, a rhythm tapped on the desk, a few words written in a notebook. It's already living inside the artist, waiting for someone to listen, nurture it, and say, there is something powerful inside you. That is what I've learned teaching young people here on the West Side through Music Without Limits, at the Promise System, and also through the Morehouse Summer Program. Our young people already have music inside them. They have creativity, intelligence, vision, stories that deserve to be heard. My responsibility is not to give them a voice. God has already given them one. My responsibility is to help them recognize its value, develop it, believe that the world needs to hear it. In the studio, I tell students, every part of a song matters. The drums create the foundation, the bass holds everything together, and the melody carries the emotion. Even the rest, the moments when no instrument is playing, have purpose. Community works the same way. Every child matters, every resident matters, every institution has a part to play. And when one voice is ignored or one part is missing, the whole composition suffers. The young people I teach also have shown me that. We must be careful about labels we place on them. Sometimes people look at young people and see only risk, hardship, or what they believe the child lacks. But music has trained me to listen differently. Where others may hear noise, a music producer listens for possibilities. Others may see problems, a teacher must learn to see potential. Faith calls us to look beyond the present circumstances and recognizing what God has placed inside a person. My own journey on the West Side has strengthened that faith. I came into the Home on the West Side program as a renter, worked on my credit, saved, stayed committed to the process, and eventually became a homeowner. That experience, thank you. That experience reminded me that transformation does not happen through inspiration alone. It requires opportunity, support, accountability, and people who believe in your future can be greater than your present circumstances. That is what our children need. That is what our families need. That is what the Westside deserves. The Christian Bible makes several references to making joyful noise. Our task is to be the community that makes space for the joy and that gives our young people, our seniors, and those in between the freedom, the tools, and the opportunity to contribute to our sound. May we listen closely, may we invest patiently, and may we work together until every person on the Westside knows that their voice matters, their gifts have value, and that their life belongs in the song that we're creating together. Amen.
Amen, indeed. Let's give him one more round of applause for Broderick. Yeah, just my own personal brag moment. I told Broderick when I first met him this morning that he was behind some of the really important Atlanta hip-hop songs of my youth. So I was like, oh my God, I'm meeting him. Like, this is awesome. So he's a really great person. Obviously, we're really proud of him being a leader in our community, but also a homeowner within our pipeline. So very excited about that. And just his statement of investing patiently, I'll take with me, just because, this work in all capacities that we serve in a community like this or communities like this, it takes time. It's not going to happen just because one day we did this project or 1 week we made some change. It's going to take work, and that investment will pay off dividends for years and generations. So really appreciate your remarks this morning. One of our favorite things, per usual, is our time to connect and really become deeper relationships that ultimately result in greater impact for our community. Traditionally, we do this, that individual opportunity for people to stand, but we've learned that when we give more time for people to make eye contact, face-to-face, shake hands, and spend a little time together, there's greater impact. So as usual, it's a hard 5, but we're gonna do 5 minutes of relationship building. So please get up out of your seat, walk to a different side of the room, meet somebody you've never talked to before, and let's have some fellowship. Thank you, guys.
The show is about to resume. Please take your seats. Please take your seats. Everyone, please take your seats.
We ask. That's it.
Testing.
All right. Could everyone go ahead and take their seats, please? Ask everyone to go ahead and. Hey, good morning. Good morning. Good morning. So thank you for our fellowship time. If everyone go ahead and take their seats, please, so we can get along with our program. So if we could have everyone go ahead and take their seats, that would be awesome. Please take your seats. We got a really program to get through this morning. So we've asked everyone to take their seats. Go ahead and take your seats. That would be awesome. Thank you. So for the next part of our program, we're gonna show some of our homes and apartments up for sale. And before I do this, I want to just kind of ground this in a historic program. One of the things I live in Vine City, I think many people know, and I live on Sunset, the last street Dr. King and his family called home. And I often reflect to go in front of where he last lived and imagine the kind of community as his neighbor, because I am his neighbor and his wife, what they would like to see. So if I imagine them coming out onto their front porch and saying, what did you get done today, right? And an answer that naturally always occurs to me is to talk about the built environment, because the built environment in the historic West Side needs to be dramatically improved, and a lot of progress has been made, but a lot more progress needs to be made. But the other thing I've come to reflect is he would probably be most curious about the hearts of his neighbors, right? The hearts of the neighbors. And he was very intentional in the kind of neighbors I think you would like to see in one of his last sermons, The Drum Major Instinct, where he talked about having a heart of service. We have a natural instinct to have he called it the drum major instinct, a instinct on behalf of ourself. As humans, it's natural. So how do you turn that drum major instinct for self into the other? And that's through God and the recognition that we are all brothers and sisters of God. And so through that, to turn that drum major instinct into a drum major for justice. And our Home on the Westside program is designed to support that. So we want folks that have a historic connection to the West Side. Have you lived in the West Side, historic neighborhoods, worked in historic neighborhoods, or attended one of the schools? And what I really appreciate about Broderick and many people that are living and have lived, is living in a neighborhood that's not yet where you want it to be, but leaning in for that neighborhood of the future. So people that come into our Home on the West Side program are really leaning into a vision for what these neighborhoods can be. And as my board chair often says, Dallas Smith, it's all about restoration to the greatness these neighborhoods once had. So with that, these are some of our products. And one thing we're very blessed in our program, we offer down payment assistance. And thanks to our philanthropic donors, we offer down payment assistance. It's tied to income, and it layers on top of what Invest Atlanta and Atlanta Housing do. So people literally are getting buy downs of $80,000 to $90,000. So the prices of our homes you'll see, but the price someone pays is much less because of the down payment assistance that's earned. You have to be in the home for some number of years to recoup it. But these are some of the homes that we have up for sale in the neighborhood. And here in this home, for many years, or over probably a couple years, we could not sell this home because of the blight next door to it. We finally got it torn down, so now this home's up for sale. It's a wonderful home. So you see some of the others and the homes that we have coming online. And then we also have, new rental on Boone, 839 Boone. And this is over in English Avenue, 646 Echo. We did a groundbreaking earlier this week. We have more product coming online in a year. And this is, we're also, our program is bringing in more retail. So we're going to have at 839 Boone, you'll soon be able to go have, coffee and pastries. Yes, that's right. I see some happy faces. I'll be doing it myself. So that's exciting. And I want to give a special shout out. I see Tamika, raise your hand. Tamika, Director of Home on the Westside. So if you're interested, please, follow up with Tamika. And just another note, all the homes that we sell at the price it costs us to build them. Less. We build a home, it's the land cost, it's the build cost. What is it not? That and this mic. Shift to welcoming up our Booker T. Washington cluster of principals. Yeah, this was not my mic morning. I don't know what my horoscope said. It probably said stay away from mics. All right, thank you. So I'm going to go over here so we can also have a panel discussion with our Booker T. Washington cluster principals. So back to that heart of service, we know that Dr. Martin Luther King and so many other luminaries went to that Booker T. Washington High School and the history. So if you've never walked the halls of Booker T. Washington High School and you want to be inspired, that is something that it will quickly take you, because the amazing, amazing folks that have walked the halls of that high school is incredible. But I want to ask all the principals to come up, and we'll let them introduce themselves. So as they walk on up, yes, please just come on up, and we'll welcome you, up to the stage. So everyone give them a round of applause. All right, thank you. Yes, please, everyone. I'm gonna be the last one to be seated, so I want y'all to all sit. Well, first, just please go ahead and, yeah. All right, thank you. Yes, please be seated. All right. This is amazing. So let's give another big round of applause for them being here. So first, we want to make sure everyone knows you. So I'll just start here. Just name the school that you lead, and we'll go down. And once we do that, we'll come back to the first question.
Okay. Well, good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
I am Dr. Teruko Dobashi, and I am the proud principal of M. Agnes Jones Elementary School.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Melanie Sithole, the proud and passionate principal of Tuskegee Airmen Global Academy, also known as TAG.
Good morning. I am Lateisha Andrews, one of the assistant principals at Herman J. Russell West End Academy. And I'm here on behalf of my principal, Dr. Chandra Dupree, who was selected to be in the leadership program, so I'm happy to be here today.
Good morning, everyone. I am Annique McMillian. I am one of the assistant principals at Hollis Innovation Academy. I am here on behalf of my proud principal, Dr. Adib Shakir.
Good morning, great people. How are we doing today? I love it. I love the energy. My name is Tiauna Crooms. I am the proud principal of the historic Booker T. Washington High School.
All right, and I was reflecting, maybe it'd also start, if you're here and you have a child enrolled in the Booker T. Washington cluster, raise your hand if you've got a child enrolled. Okay, thank you. Please raise your hand if any way you attended any of the schools in the Booker T. Washington cluster. Raise up your hands if you're, all right. Thank you. And also, if any way you've volunteered, helped the school, touched the school, any of the Booker T. Washington cluster schools, please raise your hand. All right, that's amazing.
Love it.
Thank you. So I just thought it'd be good for y'all to see some of the folks out there. So thank you. So, first question, and appreciate. And I have a deep. Earlier in my career, I actually served on the Decatur City School Board for 2 terms, and gave me such an appreciation of the role of school-based leadership through principals, and how the principals have an incredible amount to do, and many times, we know that we want kind of being chief, learning champion, but there's so many other challenges that pull out a principal. But just how much gratitude we have for your leadership. And to start, if you could just, for each of you, reflect on, what do you think's going great and excited about at your school, right? And then as you think about, challenges, and maybe especially challenges that the folks here could lean into. So maybe for each of y'all, what's going great you're excited about, and what, maybe, one challenge you're thinking about.
Okay, for at Agnes Jones, we are so excited about the greatness that's already embedded in our students. We know they come with the wealth of knowledge. They are not tabula rasas. They come with excitement and excellence, and our teachers are seeing that. We had an opportunity to get off of a turnaround list over the last 3 years. We also were 3rd in the district for year-over-year achievement in math. So we're excited. We are creating and cultivating mathematicians, critical thinkers, and students who are advocating for change. I had students come to me at the end of last year with a petition, and it was a petition to keep teachers in the building. And the greatest thing about that is that we are cultivating advocates for the community. We want students to stand up for justice and the things that they believe in. So that's the best thing that's happening at Agnes Jones. An area of growth that we're still working towards is, 1, attendance, ensuring that our students are coming to school every day. Our average daily attendance increased, but we see that we have some students who are chronically absent. And I talked to parents yesterday at curriculum night, just saying that if you miss 2 days per month, your child will be chronically absent. And so it's so important, because if you attend today, you leave tomorrow. So we need our babies at school, and we are really working towards ensuring that our students are reading on grade level, and ensuring that they are critical thinkers and they can look at a text, they can understand it, and they also can cultivate those texts themselves.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
At Tag Academy, one of the things that we're very proud of is our math data. When I first got to Tag Academy, we had about 11% proficiency in math. In the last 4 years, we've now been able to increase that to 40%. So some may hear 40%. Yes, it is still 40%, but we are moving in the right direction. Some of the things that we see on a daily basis are our teachers taking those standards and really making them applicable to real world application. So helping our students understand, I was in a math class yesterday, and they were talking about measurement. And the teacher pulled up a GPS and talked about how we can relate that in miles and feet and what those conversions are. So really just leaning into that so our students see the meaning of why we're doing the work, and being able to make those connections. An area that we're continuing to improve in is reading. Some of the steps that we've taken to be able to support that is we were selected and identified as an accelerated literacy model school. So that means in pre-K through 3rd grade, every classroom has 2 teachers in the classroom, and we have a very specific set of strategies that we're doing to move the work forward and to accelerate the learning for reading. So we've identified our pain points. We do have an action plan, and we're super excited about the growth that we've been able to make.
So at Herman J. Russell, one area that we feel that we're doing well with is student growth. We have made major gains as it relates to student attendance, student discipline, and academics. Last year was a brand new administration team, and so we changed the way PLC was facilitated at our school, using the 4 guiding question as the groundwork to have those conversations in PLC, where we're not just focusing on what are we teaching, but how are we going to move our students. We use the data to look at the student work to determine how we're going to move the students, what we're going to do next, and what changes we're going to make. And I feel like by strengthening our Tier 1 instruction, that caused the gains that we're seeing right now in academics. Our students, our teachers, our staffs, and the community put in a lot of hard work last school year, and we're so excited about that student growth. But when we start to think about what do we need to improve on, I look at just building upon that student growth and making sure that we increase the number of students who are performing at grade level or above grade level. And I feel that we can continue to do that by staying true to the PLC, staying true into making sure we identify what is it that we want our students to know and understand and be able to do before going into the classroom and implementing those standards. So we're gonna keep adding on, building and strengthening our Tier 1 instruction through our PLC to ensure that all of our students can meet proficiency at the end of the school year.
Good morning again. At Hollis Innovation Academy, we have seen a lot of gains in our math data and our math instruction. We are projected to meet our targets in those areas across, we're K-8, so across the entire building, we are seeing growth in math. Last year, we did a lot of work in providing professional development to our teachers in that area, making sure that the teachers understand the standards, that the teachers understand what they're putting in front of the students so that the students can see success. A challenge that is still prevalent at Hollis is attendance. We try to incentivize the kids to come, give them, things to be excited about when they come to school, but we do know that when students are in our seats every day in front of a teacher, that our achievement will grow. So we're looking forward to putting together a plan to make sure that we're really tracking our chronically absent students and making sure that they understand the value of coming to school every day.
All right. When I think about the finished product at Washington, Booker T. Washington High School, I think about the students that are transitioning from elementary, middle to high. And if it's one thing that you've heard so far today is intentionality. Intentionality about the product, the finished product. What are we doing to make sure that our students are on track for learning? So again, at each school, elementary, middle, and also high school, you see progress. Progress. And I'm going to say this as a proud principal of Washington High School, we have had and just recently announced the highest student growth data in the district in U.S. history. Now that the end of course scores are released, which is a state assessment, you can look at our trend data to see from 3 years. So in 3 years, you will see an increase in math and Algebra 1. In biology, we was acknowledged as having one of the highest growth data. In social studies, the highest growth data. And not even to mention about our graduation rate. So I'm not just saying that the work is being done. We are boots on the ground, rolling up our sleeves and making sure that it happens. And it doesn't happen overnight. So when you see that growth is starting at the elementary school, we know that finished product, when they come to Washington High School, we just simply have to put that cherry on top to make sure that our kids are ready for college and career. You asked about one of the challenges that we have, and I think that all of my colleagues can attest to this. It's attendance. We got to get them in school. So if I'm talking to my stakeholders out here, let us come together. Let us bond together. What can we do to make sure that our students are in the building? In the building for safety, in the building to make sure that the work is being done, in the building to make sure that they have a better quality of life when they leave Washington High School. So I'm excited about that, but yet it's still attendance. I can keep saying that over and over again. If I don't get them in the building, if we don't get them in the building, then learning won't take place.
Yeah, thank you. So one point I'm going to kind of learn through my career is that if you really want to understand if a school is doing great, look and see if the neighborhood's doing great.
Yes.
And one of the things, just as a metaphor, if I were to come into this room to do the Transformative Summit and I had, came in soaked and dripping wet, right? The team would feel like, okay, we got to get as close, like we got to get them. It's a challenging thing when you walk in the door and you're not ready, so to speak, because of your external environment. And obviously the children don't pick where they're born and live.
That's correct.
Right? But the quality, of the neighborhood has so much to do. And I reflect as school leaders, right? You often have to spend so much of your time on things that have nothing to do with being a school leader, so to speak, right? In terms of leading, because back to attendance, right? And when I guess, because I think it's really an important point to really is reflect, and maybe so folks can really understand like the kind of challenges that students, because of the neighborhoods that they live in, right, bring into the school, right? And maybe for me, I think also helping folks that know the kind of things that you know, goes back to, you know, the violence in the neighborhood, the other things that are being experienced that really then impact the ability of children to, you know, to learn, right? So I don't know if anyone wants to, but just to kind of talk about how when children come into school, and attendance would be one, how the quality of the neighborhood is having an impact, you know, on the kids that are coming to school.
So one of the things that I'll say, what we try to do at TAG Academy is really create experiences for children. We recognize that children don't have control over those circumstances, but what we do and what we're very intentional about is whenever they walk through our doors, what are the things that we can do to ensure that they have a childlike experience? I can tell you right now, one of the things that we were able to do because of partnerships like Westside Future Funds and other people in the room, last year we were able to take our children to Disney World at no cost to the students at all. So if they score proficiency or above on the Georgia milestones, then they had that opportunity to come. If they showed growth, then we had an in-house similar experience for them. So again, how do we motivate children so that when they come into the schoolhouse, they're excited about learning and they're able to focus on what is before them. And then we have wraparound services for our families through partnerships like you to be able to build up the family dynamic so that the community is also growing as well.
Thank you. Anyone else?
It's interesting when we think about all of what the school entails, right? Our parents send their very best that they have in the school. And it's what we do with it within that time that we have it. So we may be the social worker. We may be that advocate for them. We may be the police officer, or we have that school nurse that's going to be there. But creating those resources that helps. I think I was just having a conversation recently about literally right before we came on stage, and I'm not trying to call her out, but she was saying, what can we do to get these kids in school? Because I see them on the neighborhood during the day. Call me, text me, call me. If you see someone out there in the neighborhood, look, everybody gonna call me now, but if you see, and I mean that literally because of the fact that if there are students, let us know. We'll send a truancy officer out there. And when we meet them at the door when they're dropped off, and then we need to figure out why, because it's not a black and white situation. It's not, okay, you were tardy, then this is gonna happen to you. Let's find out why. What happened this morning? Let's talk about that. Let's get to the root cause of it. But it does take time, but it also takes our community stakeholders, and I'm saying you, because we can't do this work alone. We cannot. But again, just as the community member called and said, hey, I've seen this person, they contacted my associate Sue contacted me, and I said, done. Let's figure out who it is, and we'll meet them at the door. So yeah, we do know that we have challenges, and sometimes they bring it inside of the building, but we have to do our research. We have so many advocates out there that will tell me about an incident that may have happened in the community before the day has even gotten started. So now we're able to, I'm on the phone with my assistant principals and the resource officers and say, hey, this is what's getting ready to happen in the school. But when they hit the door, we are ready for them. But it comes from our voices outside in the community. It comes from you. So I'm excited again, like I stated, but again, we understand that there are challenges, but let's try to change that mindset. I think, John, you mentioned earlier today and talk about hope. And it's so easy just to give up on hope. But that's what we have right now. That's how we keep them in school right now, that hope.
And I think as a former foster youth coming from San Francisco, I felt like I was one of my babies, right? My lived experiences may walk in a similar path. And I think about the experience that I had in public school in which I felt like my teachers had lowered the expectation for me, right? They knew that my mother was on drugs. They knew that I might not have ate that night. They gave me an exception. And we in the Washington cluster believe that excellence is the bar, it's the standard, right? And we have to ensure that our teachers operate with high expectations, that they love and they have this equity for the students to give them those social emotional needs and those wraparound services, but to not lower the expectations for our students. We know that you might need to go eat. Let's get you a snack and let's figure out how we can get you back in class so that you can be supported. Because where you come from does not determine where you're going, right? And we need to make sure that we have services. At M. Agnes Jones, we have partnered with Partners in Change to ensure not only our parents, but also some of our paraprofessionals have opportunities to continue to grow and to meet their goals and to identify smart goals that are actionable that they can move towards, because we know that our children have to see it to be it. We're starting a book club with our parents, Daring Greatly by Brene Brown, just so that they can think about ways that we all can continue to grow together. So it's really creating those services and also just holding on to those high expectations, because again, regardless of where you came from, does not determine where you're going.
Absolutely, thank you. I appreciate it, and think about set up my next question back to the lessons of Nehemiah. We started a devotion on this day. One of the things that at the time Nehemiah was able to do was to call in all the nobles into Jerusalem and make certain demands that they needed to do on behalf of the phrasing was the remnants, on behalf of folks suffering in the community. And saying that is we have an amazing city that is so successful, and many people here in this audience want to lean in. And so for the next question, really think about, if you were to say for your school, what would really be great to have? And I've also framed this question because I also appreciate often people show up to schools with how they think they should help you. Right? I've got a program that I want you to do. Right? I have money for my program that I want you to implement. I want you to answer the question from the space of, like, if you were to think of one thing and think about, this would really be great, that would help me in my leadership on behalf of these students, right? So, you never know what ears out there might hear and back to, but also really my intentionality around the question is to y'all to be like what you really, based on your day-to-day leadership, know, hey, if I had this kind of help, I think it would make a real impact. All right? And I don't, I'll let whoever wants to go first, go first. I wasn't quite sure if folks want to think about it a little bit, but do you want to start?
Oh, I'll start. One thing we kept sharing with you all is about intentionality, and thank you, John, you put it right there. Appreciate the support that is provided, but the why behind the support is always lingering. We have to be very cognizant of what we put in front of our students and how we are supporting them. So every year we operate, it never ends, our continuous improvement plan. That's a living document with goals that are set to better support our whole child, our students, achievement level, as well as dealing with social emotional learning. So when we talk about support, we talk about time, we talk about talent, we talk about treasure. And if you don't mind, I just want to give a huge shout out to Westside Future Funds. You guys are amazing. Even when it comes to like the volunteers that you put forth, or even creating opportunities where we have those career explorations and kids are getting outside of the building to actually do tours to see, oh, I see myself in that position. Or even just dealing with the treasure and if it's supporting what our initiatives that we have going on in the school. So I appreciate Westside Future Funds. I see Elevate out here. I see Raising Expectations. I can go on and on about the community organizations that better support our school. But I'm gonna go back and say that intentionality. So if I was to say, as a high school principal, access and network, we can get them there. Get them there in a position whereas that we've done all of this, Ms. Crooms. I'm not just talking about checking the boxes. We went far and beyond. We're over at Georgia Tech with the Excel program. We're doing a dual enrollment program that's at Clark University and Georgia State and Atlanta Metropolitan. We got our certification in HVAC and spa and cosmetology. So they're checking the box and going beyond, but then when they graduate, it's like, now what? I don't know what to do. What now? So again, access and network. We can get them there, but we need someone to support in opening those doors to get them there at the table to interview or to show them how to network and what needs to be done. I hope you don't mind me calling you out, Jordan. I know he's like, why is she calling me out? So it's so good to see him. He's one of my former students, and I'm looking right at him. He's a pilot. Jordan. And it wasn't bells and roses. I mean, I'm just saying it was not. He has a strong mom, and then also the partnership between the parents and the school, right? And continuously to speak life, right? So he had challenges, but look at him now. I'm sitting up here like a proud, but that's just one of so many. So if anything, if we talk about how can we better support, access, and also network.
Access and network. So when they graduate from high school, get them at the table, access and network. And I also heard mentorship.
Yes.
And on the other end of the spectrum, at the elementary level, we need exposure and consistency. You know, some of our babies are coming in and we have these great clubs. We have robotics. We have the first rapid racer team in Atlanta, in the whole metro Atlanta. We have race cars, but we have to drive all the way to Alabama to get our kids exposed to that. And for us, some of our babies don't know what they love yet. Their passions are inside of them, but they haven't been pulled out yet. So having that opportunity for people to come in and bring their talents, right, and bring their treasures and come in and expose our students to that, but not just come in one time and say, oh, I'm gonna lead a Wednesday club just 1 week. Instead, our babies are looking for you to come back. They want to build those relationships. So we want people to be consistent, form a relationship with our children that can follow them through, as they matriculate to middle school and high school.
And I will ditto. Oh, I'm sorry.
Please.
Okay, I'll ditto what both of my colleagues have said. Just to add to that, you can be our advocate, right, by telling our story. We do a good job of telling our story to our community, but people trust a personal relationship, a personal experience over what an organization has to say. So we need people to understand that there are high quality schools right here in Atlanta Public Schools in the west side of Atlanta. And you don't have to go to a private school. You don't have to go to a public charter school. They're available here. So I would just add to that in terms of telling their story, find out about our schools, engage with us, talk to us. We're happy to have you in so that you're able to speak that story as well.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I think at Hollis, because we're K-8, we really need a laser focus on our middle school and making sure that they have a middle school experience. So that kind of mirrors giving them exposure and setting up some partners who can help us with lasting exposure to give them the experience they wouldn't have otherwise. And making sure that we pour into them as we collaborate with Washington High School to give them some of the things that they need for their programming to continue into high school. So we don't want them to feel like, they're stuck in the elementary space, but that they have what they need in order to be able to contribute to the health sciences track that we set up for them to go to Washington. If they are invested in the arts, and that they can go and do that same program at Washington. So if you're a partner or a nonprofit or anything, use your expertise to give our students some long-lasting, impressionable experiences that they would not have had otherwise.
And lastly, here at Herman J. Russell, I agree with everything that has been stated thus far, but I also want to make sure if you're a partner here, if you can help celebrate our teachers. I think we have to be very intentional with the people that we're placing in front of our students to ensure that they have high expectations, they want to be there, they want to teach our kids, they're willing to go above and beyond what we ask of them each day so that we can get our students where we want them to be. So I think celebrating our teachers, providing that professional learning for our teachers, creating that opportunity, that space for them to collaborate and connect with teachers across the cluster so that we can fill in those gaps. Because a lot of times as an educator, we're only focusing on what we have to teach that year for that grade level and forgetting about how what we're teaching is building on something that they may have already learned or adding to something they're gonna learn in the future. So it's, for me, I want to create more opportunity for our teachers to be celebrated, to really be intentional with the instruction that they're providing to their student each and every day.
Thank you. Eliciting on the celebration, maybe something, because I know through our Westside Volunteer Corps, and thank you, Raquel Hudson leads our Westside Volunteer Corps.
Yeah.
Maybe one thing we do with our Westside Volunteer Corps is the next few months, maybe we can pick a school and coordinate with each principals to celebrate the teachers. So through our Westside Volunteer, and we can pick a day to show up that doesn't, shows up the right way. Work with our volunteer corps. And even when here, but like celebrate our Booker T. Washington teachers. We can do each of the schools. And the other thing we can do, and I know Tamika, is our Home on the Westside program. You need the teachers and y'all too as principals qualify for our Home on the Westside program. And so we've already successfully moved in folks through our Home on the Westside program, both rental and home ownership. So as part of that, we can make sure folks are aware of those opportunities if they don't already want to live in the coast. But I also heard, and I often do reflect, living in Vine City. On the one hand, you live in neighborhoods where you don't see everything you want to see. Then you look to the skyline and it's like abundance.
Yeah.
Just abundance, which is amazing success story of our city, right? And back to what I heard throughout is how do we connect the children to this abundance and understand how to tap into it, how to access it, and how to have models for how to do that. So I heard a version of that and I know many people are already here leaning into that, so I know there's a lot of people already working hard at that, but I heard that as a theme. So if folks want to follow up, would they be able to just contact, I know each of y'all have folks on your team that work on partnerships, but if folks heard something this morning they'd love to follow up on, they could just follow up right with y'all?
Yes, absolutely. Yes, and I'm personally inviting you. On September 11th, we have our publishing party. I told you we're creating and cultivating readers and writers. Each month, we have a publishing party where our students share their authentic writing, and it's important for them to read that to people, right? Like they're just not writing it for a grade. So at noon at M. Agnes Jones, if you're interested in coming to our publishing party, it's also Grandparents' Day. We're gonna have fried chicken in the cafeteria. It's gonna be a great day, okay? So come, M. Agnes Jones, September 11th at noon. You can eat lunch with the kids and you can listen to authentic opinion pieces that our students wrote. It'd be an honor if you all would come and listen to them.
All right, no, thank you. So now we're gonna shift and take questions from the audience. I don't know what's gonna happen either. They're gonna, someone will, in terms of the questions, that's what I meant. But raise a hand, and when you ask the question, make sure you hold the mic close. And I know the first question is going to be a great one. All right.
Good morning. I am a proud fourth generation Booker T. Washington graduate. I also attended M. Agnes Jones Elementary. So my question is, and Principal Sithole, you spoke to this elegantly. My son was also a graduate of Booker T. Washington High School, but his father lived in Paulding County. So we had a choice to allow him to go to school in the suburbs. How are we marketing these schools for the individuals that are in our community so that they are here and we're preserving that legacy of students that come in, and anyone is willing to answer, and I'm here for it all.
Absolutely. One of the things that I can say is it is an investment, right? It's an investment. Over the past few years, we've had a communications liaison whose specific and sole role was to market and tell our story to the community. So that is something that we're working through as a cluster to be able to help you all be able to understand all of the great things that are happening in our schools on a daily basis so that you can help advocate and tell that story as well. So you're absolutely right. Parents are at a point now where they have choice. They're very spoiled for choice. So we just want them to see our schools as premier schools and be able to make that choice as well.
I'm going to piggyback on what she stated. And thank you for asking that question, because that is an opportunity for growth for us. And if I'm being transparent with you, that is an area that is deeply needed. How can we talk about these hidden gems that's happening at our schools? It shouldn't be hidden, right? And so again, that is definitely marketing. What can we do to better support the Washington cluster schools and exposing and all the great things that are happening? Because there are a lot of great things that are happening in Washington. So thank you for asking that question.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I want to congratulate each of you for being in the position. Now, having been a substitute teacher, I noticed that in the classrooms, teachers have burnout fatigue because of discipline. And teachers who have the initiative to discipline in their class are not getting support from the principals. The principal and the staff are more student advocate than teacher advocate. And I'm wondering if you can return to a model of discipline while you try to be kind of gentler that will allow the teachers not to get frustrated and leave teaching.
So I'm going to say that we do lift teacher voice in our schools. And I'm being cognizant of what I say, that I may not agree entirely with what you just shared, because of the fact that each school have their own community and how they build teacher voice. Again, I'm going to go back to, it's not black and white in regards to discipline. Suspension is not the answer. So when we suspend them and take them out of the school, then they're in the communities, and then what? What can we do in-house in a school to better support our students? So let's go back and talk about social emotional learning and understanding the why behind it. Sometimes the offenses are very egregious, whereas hey, this is where it is. And then they're often more so than few, because we're talking about less than, majority of our students are doing great things. So oftentimes we get the huge misconception of thinking this less than 5% dictates everything that's happening in the building, and that's incorrect and that's not true. But that less than 5% that we're talking about that needs those wraparound services, not knowing whether or not if they ate, if they're angry, I come into the classroom and I didn't have supplies. Well, why didn't you have supplies? Or did you eat last night? Other than, I hear this outburst coming from this student and let's hurry up and suspend them. We got to understand the reason why. We have to change the mindset, of our teachers and also our adults and administrators that are feeding into and making sure that we create a better product coming out this school. Not suspension, right? Egregious behaviors happen. And sometimes when we think about the safety and security, we have to make those critical decisions and say, hey, this is not a good place right now. But you'll be surprised that when we reach out in the community supports, and also, don't get me wrong, our district, Atlanta Public School System, they have a wealth of support systems that provides that assist us too, with behavior specialists, with disproportionality specialists, right? So we have those things on the scene of what we can do right now. But we definitely lift our teachers' voices. We hear them. We don't shut the door and say, hey, that's your problem. That's not what we do. But I do appreciate you lifting that and sharing that with us, because again, I'm going to take this back and say, hey, is this something that you guys are thinking about or whatever? And let's revisit this and talk about it. And then also provide professional learning opportunities like mindset training or de-escalation, and not so quick to thinking that it's black and white, because it's not black and white. It's that gray part that is in the middle and understanding the reason why.
Hi. I don't exactly have a question, but I'm offering a connection. So my name is Trinity Marks. I'm 22 years old, and I'm opening up Dream Cafe, as you guys saw on the slide.
Congratulations.
And when I heard you guys saying that it would be cool to see, examples, real life examples of what you could do and who you could be, because I started my business when I was 17. And there wasn't exactly a whole lot of examples that I could do this. So I'd like to do that.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good morning. My name is Laura Hawk, and while I am an Astro parent right now, my husband and I will be, yes, it's okay, go Astros for the Astros in the audience. We are Astro parents right now, but we will be Washington parents.
Hey!
So, And we're very excited to support you. You also happen to have 3 members of the Atlanta Council of PTAs here. So if there's a way that we can support you all, and particularly I would love to know how to get more involved with Washington before we make that move next year. Let's talk afterwards.
I love it, and thank you for sharing that. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Good morning. I'm Sherry Belil, a legacy parent of the Washington cluster. I have 3 kids that came out of Washington, came on to Ms. Crooms Brown Middle School, class of 2019 and class of 2022, my twins. Ms. Croom letting me know and let London and Tokyo know if you need any support for Washington. They're willing to come back. They're in the civic engagement space of voting. And my question is for Hollis Innovation. We are advocating to restore the pool at Hollis Innovation Academy because in order to have a healthy, sustainable community, it's good to have the pool. 20 years or so ago, we had the pool and it was a safety and security instrument where our kids were in the pool and we had less issues in the community. So that's something we're advocating for, is to get the pool restored at Hollis. We know APS is working on infrastructure stuff right now, but you should see people in the community advocating to restore the pool at Hollis, which also it can compose of the community being able to use the pool. Thank you.
Good. Thank you for that.
Yeah, I just want to say we are fully behind the opening of the pool. We go down, when we give tours to the school, we go down and say they're really trying to get this back up and running. To have a community pool would be excellent. We are a true community school where all of our children come, K-8, they can come to the pool, they can have that. We can have all type of programming around swimming and having that access. So we're 100% behind everything that the community and the county is trying to do to get that back up and running.
Hello, I am a proud Washington High School parent. My daughter is 10th grade. She started in 9th grade. She's a cheerleader, soccer player, volleyball, and the 10th grade student government president.
Wow.
She's in the early college program as well. My question is, I've always liked to be a part of the solution, and I support you all wholeheartedly. Being a parent, that Catherine was initially in private school, went to charter, and then public school, coming to Washington High School. What I see that is a challenge is the sports program, and that's across the board for APS. I think that would be an area that the community can support more with, because when kids feel like they're a part of a winning team, they show up, parents show up, everybody is excited. What can we do to help the coaches or even get volunteers to help that are versed and understand the game so that the kids can perform at a higher level and be excited about it? Because I am a true parent, and my husband too. We come to all of the games to support the kids because it's about showing up for them, because I know a lot of parents have to work. I've done carpool and things like that, but I see that is an area to get some excitement, because believe it or not, parents show up for games, and I've also helped the PTA where we have gotten the word out at football games. That's where you got to meet people where they are, but how can we help with the sports program to get that up and running where the kids absolutely are excited and we can get some more parents out?
You mentioned how can we support our athletic program. By the time they get to high school, I'm just saying in general, in a typical neighborhood, they have gone through a recreational center and learned those foundational skills, right? And then they go through middle school and you start your athletic program and begin sports, and then they come to high school. And what we find ourselves doing is teaching the foundation, the fundamentals, right? Whereas that maybe in other areas, they have already gone through that process and may have played soccer or may have played football or whatever, baseball, tennis at a younger age. So we do understand that. Hiring and making sure that we have that vertical alignment with middle and high school, where our athletic directors as well as our coaches are working together to build the program up. that supports too as well. And contrary to popular belief, we have a swim team that did amazing last year. We have a golf team. We have a tennis team. We have football, soccer, flag football. I can go on and on about the sports that we do have. And one of the things that I know that if we keep our students involved, because it's teaching so many things, social skills, being a team player, understanding work ethics. We can go on and on about what that does and being part, not just of sport, but any type of extracurricular activity. It enhances and also supports their academic performance. So again, thank you for lifting that. I'm open to support to be provided in regards to going back to, and what our superintendent states, the basics, to make sure that they have those fundamental skills to be able to build up and make our sports program more rigorous.
They can't afford for them to participate. And then we also have issues with, providing pregame meals, snacks, and things like that. We do a lot of things. I'm a part of the Rotary Club of West End. We do support in those efforts, but I would love to see more of the business community, even the community in itself, to do more. We get the word out there, and I continuously say, we support these businesses. They should support our schools. And this is how we can do it. We can get it done. It's not that much. We can plan ahead, but definitely where it comes in the place of they want to participate, but they can't because families can't afford the fees. So I would love to see something in regards to that, because we probably have some very talented kids, but they're not participating because the family can't afford it. So that's another area too. Thank you.
And you're absolutely right.
This is the last question. Good morning. My name is Cassandra Kirk. I serve as Chief Judge of our Magistrate Court here in Fulton County. With me is Demetrius Myatt. Thank you. And I wanted to come and offer you two things. The first is our court does a monthly program where we invite students to come visit us at our court. It's a half-day program. I want to invite you to that. It's called Bang the Gavel. The other opportunity we have is internships. We have year-round internships, high school, college, and law school. So we have opportunities for your students. I'm going to ask Demetrius to meet with you all. So it's a pleasure to be you all.
Thank you for that. That's good.
All right, this was an amazing. I know we're at a time. We want to kind of respect everyone's time in terms of when we end. But two questions for the audience. One, if you were already familiar with or working in one of the Booker T. Washington cluster schools, if you already were doing that, raise your hand. So if you already were doing in some ways, touching the schools, working with schools, so we just want to say, thank you. And that means for all the other hands, now that you've learned something about, being able to connect into the schools, if you've heard something you were thinking about, I heard some folks stand up, but raise your hand if you learned something from these principles and you'd love to be able to follow up with them. So raise that hand. Hey! All right, raise that hand. And I think that one of the things I appreciate about our organization, remind myself, is we're a community building organization. Right? And this is what we're doing right now. This is what that looks like. Building community, because we have in this community everything that we need, which is the grace from God, is everything we need is around us. But how do we open our eyes and with intentionality connect to make it happen? So thank you for everyone being here this morning, and let's give another amazing round of thanks to our leaders of the And we're going to, yes, and we always want folks to love feeling great, so we do the drawing at the very end.
Will first.
Okay.
One, and then read the number on it.
Okay. I need my glasses. Wait a minute, where are my glasses? 1120235. 1120235. Okay. When you get a certain age, you got to push it back a little bit. I may have to give this to her.
1120207. 1120207. No?
She said bingo.
Okay.
One more?
All right. 2020 vision.
Okay. 1120257.
Yes.
Okay. This is Home Depot.
Home Depot. 419830. 419830. 419827. Woo! In the bag.
All right, thank you. Thank you.
All right, we'll be back in September, our third Friday in September, so we'll look forward to seeing y'all then. So have a great weekend. Thank everyone for being here. Thank y'all for being here.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thanks, guys. Enjoy your Friday.